Up Trump, they talk about classified docs that broke on our watch yesterday, Dana. Nomination and now the Veep choice. Kevin, to you, is he 3 for 3 or not yet?
Oh, he's more than 3 for 3. You think of this convention 8 years ago, where you had people speaking that wouldn't even endorse him, like a Ted Cruz. This is not a Republican convention. This is a Trump convention. He is stronger today than at any given time when he was president. Taking nothing away from J.D. Vance, he's smart, he's young, but it did not matter who he picked for a VP. This party is rallied around him, and this is a unique opportunity to expand this party. When we talk about him being different, I talked to him the day after he was shot. And when he would tell the story of hearing the bullet, you would hear in his voice that he realizes the place that he is. And I think this is much different of how he's thinking about it. In 16, he wondered whether he could win. 20, he thought he was going to. He knows he can win, but he knows he can do the job. And he knows what the country needs. So he's much more focused. He's more disciplined. He is a better candidate than I've seen him at any time when he served.
Carl, he seems to have what President George H.W. Bush called the big mo, but it's still going to be a close election, right?
Yeah, we're a deeply divided country, and we're talking about him being ahead by 2 points, 3 points, 4 points. It's going to be a close election, but he does have the momentum and that iconic moment that we all saw on Saturday, and then how he's reacted to it. Last night, you picked it up. I mean, he was emotional, and he realizes that the country needs him to be a unified voice. Let's see if he can find that unified voice on Thursday night. If he does so, he'll come rocketing out of this convention.
Yeah, I made the comment last night, Harold, that Democrats are known for keeping a tight script and a tight message, and Republicans sometimes go a little wobbly. That was not the case last night.
Good morning. Thanks.
Morning.
Thanks for having me. Good to be with Kevin and good to be with Carl. I'd say a couple of things. I watched him last night come in as well. I thought you used the right word, Dana. The gratitude, you could see it in his eyes. The president was more subdued. I'm a Democrat, but I'm an American. And watching him come in the room just reminded me that the passion that we all have for our positions and our ideas should always be above anything that relates to bullets and violence. I thought every American should have been proud to watch a former president walk in after what happened to him 52 hours before. Now, there are going to be billboards, there are going to be ads. This is a time-honored tradition in politics. When I was in politics, Carl ran against me with some candidates back down in Tennessee, and we went at each other on ideas.
Ineffectually, of course.
went at each other on ideas, and I hope that what they both do, what both campaigns do, is point out the differences in the competing visions and let the American people make the decision on which direction they want the country to head. But I got to say, as an American, I couldn't have been prouder to see President Trump walk into this arena last night.
Kevin, I don't know, Kevin, what the opposite of the big mo is, but Biden seems to have it, which is like receding and taking on water. And he tried to do another interview yesterday with Lester Holt. Let's play a little bit about that. They're still on this topic. Watch.
You said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. There's some dispute about the context, but I think you appreciate that
I didn't say
words
crosshairs. I was talking about focus on. Look, the truth of the matter was, what I guess I was talking about at the time was, there was very little focus on Trump's agenda.
Yeah, the term is bullseye.
It was a mistake to use the word. I didn't say crosshairs. I meant bullseye. I meant focus on him. How do you talk about the threat to democracy, which is real, when a president says things like he says? Do you just not say anything because it may incite somebody? Look, I've not engaged in that rhetoric.
I remember my former boss and Carl's, President George W. Bush, said one time, Americans want to see a politician and a leader who knows how to get up off the mat. And I feel like Biden has just not been able to do that since the debate.
You're watching why his staff has hid him from America for these number of years. It's things that I saw one-on-one. He's not going to help himself by talking more. And there's no greater contrast in policy from the border to economics to where the parties are at. His own party and his own people, only 33% support him being the nominee. They are more divided than they've ever been. They've got a convention coming up. Maybe they can bring it together. We're more united as a Republican party. I don't think we've ever felt this way until after 9/11. I mean, you look at that moment with George Bush getting up on the microphone, "We hear you." I mean, it was for all America, and you watched what President Trump did at that time. So it's still going to be close. If you go back 8 years ago, Hillary Clinton was ahead by 2.6 right now. Trump is ahead by like that. It is much different where this President Biden was 4 years ago. He was ahead by 8 points. But it'll still come down. I think this pick for the VP is all focused on Pennsylvania. It's going to come down to Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And I think Virginia's in play now, too.
Looked like it, yeah. Looked like it.
Seemed like that primetime hour was all directed toward Michigan last night. You had two everyday Americans from Michigan, and then the head of the Teamsters Union. His message was all about, the union vote and maybe 40 years ago, the Reagan Democrats. Axios is reporting today, Carl, that the Democrats may move up, the Biden team may try and move up the schedule to put his name in nomination earlier than we would see maybe in Chicago, third week of August.
Yeah, the events of the last few days have have sort of undermined the drive to remove him from the ticket, to encourage him to decide not to run again. And his team knows that. So that's going to go away when the Republicans finish on Thursday night. The momentum to do something about Biden is going to continue to grow, and so they're going to try and get ahead of that by having this so-called virtual roll call in order to lock him in as the official nominee of the Democratic Party before they ever meet in Chicago on the 19th of August. And they're doing this ostensibly. They had to do this originally because Ohio had a law that said you had to name your candidate before the Democrats even got their convention underway. The Ohio legislature changed the law so that now the deadline is now September 1st, but that's not changed the attitude of some inside the Biden campaign leadership. We ought to get this virtual nomination, lock him in as the nominee, and that kills the chance to force him out of the race.
Harold, can we give you the final word on where the Democrats' heads are today?
So I watched the president's interview. The White House has got to get a tighter message for him. Just saying, look, that was the wrong language, and I hope all of us use better language going forward. But here's what I meant by that, and lay out the policy differences. Two, between this convention, which I think is going to be a massive success for Republicans, you have the Olympics. You're going to have some distractions at the American people. We're all going to come together rooting for our athletes, and hopefully we all take home, the country takes home more medals and gold in particular there. Three, Carl makes the right point. If indeed this choice of J.D. Vance, and I'm not entirely certain that this was the right choice for the president, but that was his choice. This is about Pennsylvania. It's about Michigan. Democrats have to think very seriously, to Carl's point, and I think a lot of Democrats are thinking about this. Is this the right ticket to combat this? The other thing, when you put a 39-year-old on a ticket as almost an 80-year-old president who has 4 years left, he's signaling to the country and to the party, this is the person that can take this for the next 8 years. Democrats have to understand an 82-year-old being on the ticket. Is that the right way to go after and to challenge this ticket in the fall? Big questions for us over the next few weeks. And we'll see where the party ends up. But I agree with Carl. This stuff about him not being the nominee, that's going to continue to rise over the next few days.
Great chat, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
See you on the 5, Harold.